My brain knew going into the series it was a 5-game series. There wasn't really a logical world that it was going to go past 5 or 6. This felt like a safe 5-game series. But my heart wanted it to be a 7-game series, and I thought that we had a chance if it was a 7-game series. But Game 5 was a disaster. I'll be honest, didn't even want to tune in. Had a practice that I had to go coach. By the time I got home, we were already down 20. Now, it was background noise for a little bit, but it was never a competitive game that was worth even watching, paying attention to. It wasn't worth my brain power to even care that the Wolves were eliminated. It more was just to start prepping for this. And I watched Game 4. That was probably the game that I watched the closest. And Anthony Edwards, if he wants to be a guy that's in the conversations for the face of the league, whether or not he wants that, he's going to want what comes with that. I mean, I don't see a world that a player doesn't want to be considered one of the top 5 players in the NBA. If he wants to be in that category, you can't take off nights. Alex Caruso is a good defender, but a good defender doesn't stop you from taking 20 shots a night. A 5 for 13 performance in Game 4 killed us. It did. I mean, that's a game that everybody showed up and we lost by 2. And if Anthony Edwards shows up, we win that game. I mean, you have to treat the 2-1 when you are going back to OKC for Game 5 as you're down 3-1. I don't understand how you can't show up to that game. I mean, you look at the one game that we won, we dominated, right? Awesome game from everybody. But especially Anthony Edwards, he was aggressive. He was assertive, 12 for 17, 5 for 8 from 3. We need him to be aggressive. This team is so much better when he's aggressive. They're so much better when he's aggressive. I would rather see him dribble into traffic, into the paint, into 2 or 3 defenders, even set defenders, and try and force that shot up, than watch Julius Randle try and run the offense. Julius Randle takes those step-back threes. They're not good looks. I'd rather take Ant barreling down the paint because he's going to, if he is in control, can kick out to our shooters. That's when we're successful as a team. Like I said, I didn't really watch Game 5 all that intently because by the time I tuned in, it was already over. I saw a little bit of it, but he just, again, wasn't aggressive. I mean, he 7 for 18, I suppose. I think I'd want him in the 20 shots a game, especially in the playoffs. Your best players take a ton of shots. Does it feel like shot chucking when they're not hitting? Yes. But do you need it? Yes, you do. It's just, we need a closer. We do. And Anthony Edwards isn't that guy right now. He can be. If he wants to be a face of the league, or he wants to be considered one of the best players in the NBA, that's what the best players do. They're closers. This is now 2 straight years that, don't get me wrong, have been better than the first 19 years of being a Wolves fan. But the last 2 years, losing 4-1 to Dallas, now losing 4-1 to OKC, so close to the finals, our championship window is open, and we don't have our closer. Anthony Edwards needs to be our closer. He's too good not to be. It's that simple. I've been watching this team my whole life. This isn't even everything I have. This is just what I have at school. I have multiple other jerseys at home. I am so sick of this. This is almost worse than when this team was so bad we got 2 straight number 1 picks. This is almost worse at this point because we're so close. You only get so many years of the championship window. And right now, it feels like it's going to close before we get a true opportunity. Obviously, now that the season is over, we need to start looking towards the offseason. I said it last year that I felt like we were going to get rid of Towns, but we needed to get rid of Gobert. We got rid of Towns. The Knicks, they're also facing elimination, but it has worked out for them. Sure, the trade worked out for the most part. We're back to the exact same spot we were at. Cool. Get rid of Gobert. I think I'm pretty level-headed when it comes to his talent level. Like, I'm not a guy that just thinks he's overrated because he's overrated. He was one of the best defensive players in the NBA for a while. The man can't do anything on offense. He can't. I mean, he's supposed to be athletic. He's very athletic on the defensive end. Where is that on offense? There's not a world that 7 foot, that athletic, you can't have a couple post moves. It's getting to the point where I don't think he's worth $300 million. I think he's a very good basketball player, not a $300 million basketball player. It was a trade that was worth doing in the sense of trying to mix it up. I could see why we did it. It helped us beat multiple very good teams, but I don't think Rudy Gobert is the type of player that on this team is going to be a championship caliber player. He had a very good series against the Lakers when the Lakers aren't running a center. It's time for him to go. It was a great run. It was a great idea, but we need to capitalize before his trade value absolutely plummets. We're not going to get a return. If we're trying to be stubborn to get a return, we're not going to get a return. It's not happening because we overpaid. We did. Luka didn't get a first-round pick. We're not getting any for Rudy Gobert. What I would like us to do is, if the Daniel Gafford trade is actually going to happen, if this is a guy that can be on the market, this isn't just like Lakers fans trying to force a trade to happen, go get him. Go get him. If we have to give up an extra guy, if it's a young guy, if it's a Leonard Miller type of guy, that's fine. Go get him. Go trade Rudy Gobert. Whether or not that's the same trade, probably not the same trade, but make that happen. There's got to be a world, if it requires to get rid of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I would love for us to re-sign, but if we have to sign and trade him and maybe a couple picks and another player to get Daniel Gafford, that's great. That's an athletic big that can do very similar things on the defensive end, but now he can play offense. He's at least a threat. He's a threat to do something. That, to me, seems like a great big that we can go get this offseason, that it's not just like impossible to do, and it should solve some problems. I don't know. I think that's a guy that we can go get, but it's time to get rid of Rudy Gobert. Another thing is Julius Randle obviously had a better playoff run than he's had in his history with the Knicks. I think he played well this season. He has a player option. If he takes it, great. I think he's worked out enough to keep him around for a year, but if he hits free agency, sign and trade, or bring him back if it's under $35 million. Don't overpay him. His player option's worth $30 million, so fine. Give him an extra $5 million. If that works, that works. Whatever. If we want to run it back with Randle, that's fine. But if he wants the upper 30s, $40 million, cut your losses. It is what it is. As for the draft, I think we need to go get an athletic wing or a big in the draft. As you can tell, I'm very frustrated with watching Rudy Gobert be supposedly this super athletic player that can't do anything on offense. Just go get another big then. Go get an athletic big, or in a situation that we have to give up a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, go get a wing to replace him. I've seen a lot of stuff to get a guard. I think that we need to give Rob an actual chance to develop. I think giving up on him and just drafting guard now makes no sense. Really, Terrence Shannon Jr. showed his potential in the playoffs, so secure him a role and then secure Rob Dillingham a true role. And if that means Mike Conley is now in a Kevin Garnett situation where he's on the team, minimal role, but he's just kind of a player coach, fine. I think that he can be a great mentor for Rob Dillingham, but if it's time for Mike Conley to take less minutes, and give him to Rob. I don't think we need to go draft somebody. Basically, we are so close, and that is so much more frustrating than when we were so far away it didn't even seem realistic. It's simple stuff. I mean, I don't know if Ant's going to be the guy. I really hope he does, because he is so talented. But if he can finally just be a guy that I don't care what's happening, I'm going to go get the basketball and score, that is going to make him so much better. He's going to continue to be in those conversations where you want to be in the conversations with the Giannis's, the Tatums, the Nikola Jokic, the SGAs, to be the face of the league. Those guys go out, they demand the ball towards the end of the game, and they go win their team's big games. We didn't do that. And it sucks because OKC, good team. I believe there was a world, again, my brain says it was a 5-game series, but I think there's a world that if we play really well, that we could push this thing to 7. But we'll never know until next year.